It's a packed desk today here as we get set for MFC 36. It is coming up this Friday night from the Shaw Conference Center in Edmonton, Alberta. Joining us here live in studio, Director of Media and Fighter Relations, Scott Zerr, joining Robin, John, and myself. Scott, welcome to Toronto here.
Pleasure to be here.
It is fight week, and why don't you tell us just a little bit about kind of the hectic process of the last couple of days getting set for a big card such as Friday night?
Well, of course, the major thing is just getting everybody in town, settled in, make sure they're comfortable, that sort of thing. And you know what? A lot of our guys now are very good at Twitter and Facebook, and they're really doing a fabulous job of promoting the fight and themselves. And it makes a big difference in a very tight fight community that Canada is, to make sure that the guys are out there and promoting.
How important is it that you have a Canadian in your main event?
I think it's, let's say, moderately, important. But I think more so than Canadian, Brazilian, American, it's talent. And when you've got Mukai Moromo and Graham Spencer, that's just talent right there. I mean, you've got very contrasting styles, but very colorful character versus a very straight-laced kind of guy. So I think that just overall talent, skill, and just the enthusiasm that these guys bring is much more important.
And the storyline of the rematch.
And the storyline of a rematch never hurts. It was a long time ago as far as Mukai is concerned, but as far as Graham's concerned, it's I got this guy's number. And I think there's a lot of enthusiasm for both guys. Mukai has a knack for beating guys in rematches. He learns one thing, picks it up from the first fight, takes it into the second fight, and destroys. And that's what he did against Adam Lynn. And Graham Spencer, I think in the back of his mind, just got that, I know how to beat this guy.
These kind of matchups are always great when you've got the, fast twitch muscle, dynamic striker against the more cerebral guy. And that cerebral guy can and sometimes does, frustrate and shut down the striker as well. So it's a great main event.
Yeah, I think it's really good in terms of the contrasting styles like you mentioned, because yes, Graham is probably going to be the guy that looks for a takedown, but he's not the old school lay and pray takedown kind of guy.
Right.
He is an aggressive takedown guy, where if he gets Mukai down, Mukai's in trouble because Graham will rain down on him. Mukai, obviously, probably one of the most dynamic strikers in all of MMA, certainly at the lightweight ranks. And if he gets you in that Muay Thai, that's big trouble.
Now we're also going to see the debut of smiling Sam Alvey on this card. We've seen him in the past on Bellator as well as Ultimate Fighter. Tell us about Sam Alvey and what kind of caught your eye bringing in Sam Alvey here. He'll be taking on Elvis Mutavcic.
Well, I think the thing that Sam brings to the table is a willingness to engage Elvis. In terms of, Elvis is a fabulous striker. We saw him with the leg kicks just, really wreck Joseph Henley. But he's got great hands as well. And Sam was really feeling along the lines that, yes, he has good skill, but he told me flat out, if Elvis wants to stand in the middle of the ring and go, we'll go.
We're fans of the MFC, and John and I have been in another city calling another fight card and rushed back to the hotel to have a couple of beers and watch MFC. Because it's always exciting. How do you guys go about finding the right matchups? How do you put it together to make sure that you've got, a dynamic guy against a dynamic guy?
Well, I think we've really studied that over the last, say, 2 years and really gotten away from the name of the fighter. Because we've brought in guys with these, exorbitant names and resumes, and you know what? They don't do very well because of a variety of reasons, but they just don't, as we like to say, they just don't bring it.
Yeah.
And we found these guys like Sam Alvey, Elvis Mutavcic, even Mukai Moromo, basically in our own backyard, who bring that element of excitement. If you're not an exciting fighter, if you're not looking to finish, it doesn't have to be a knockout, but if you're not looking to finish with ground and pound or a submission, we're not interested in having you, because the fans want finishes. They want a resolution to an encounter. They want to see a guy get tapped. They want to see a guy get finished. And you know what? If you're not in that mindset, frankly, we're not that interested in having you.
I want to quickly get to the lightweight matchup. Jonatas Novaes taking on Kurt Southern. A very interesting matchup because you have a very talented submission, actually two very talented submission fighters in this matchup.
Absolutely. And one thing I'll point out is that Kurt Southern has been off for a little bit, but here's a tough Canadian guy who stepped up and accepted a fight. His original opponent got hurt. And we went back to him and said, look, we've got to make a change here. He said, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Give me anybody. And I like that. And we appreciate that, because so many fighters, and particularly from Canada, want to choose and nitpick and I'll only fight this guy or that guy, and they want to handpick. We don't allow handpicking in the MFC.
Yeah.
You get who's put in front of you, and Kurt Southern, all the props to him because he just said, put a name, I'll sign.
Well, let me tell you, Kurt Southern, we've called a couple of his fights, as well as I've been in a back room with him before warming up, and this guy is not somebody to underestimate. He's not thinking it's a giant step up for him. He's feeling like this is the proper fight for him. It's a big mistake to underestimate Kurt Southern.
Really excited about that fight because I had a chance to speak with Jonatas Narvaez the last few days. And boy, if there's anybody in the last little while that's been really excited about coming to the MFC, it's this guy.
Wow.
He really wants to make a name.
It's MFC 36 Reality Check this Friday night from the Shaw Conference Center in Edmonton, Alberta. 2 title fights, and Mike Hackard taking on Smelino Rama. Someone is going to sleep in that fight. Stay tuned as we continue here on Fight News Now Extra.